Yes. Welcome to another episode of Afrobeat Live Fanzone. Today was a great day. Saw a lot of great games today.
A lot of great games.
How you guys doing at home? If you're watching us on Facebook, please hit the share button. Share with everybody. Today with me in the studio, I have my usual partner in crime. Ladies and gentlemen. I know, right? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Carlo, mashallah.
Thank you.
Yes, today we have a guest from Birmingham, not Birmingham, Alabama, from Birmingham, England.
Yes, sir.
A diehard Aston Villa fan. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Lindsay Williams. Yes, as you can see, she's got the Villa jersey on. She's an England international fan. Lindsay was actually a brilliant player back in the day. She used to play for Jesus Stars when we ran that Sports with Jesus. Lindsay, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's so great to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a pleasure to have you. How's Villa doing?
That's still a bit of a sore subject. Today was another draw. We've only had one win this season from the 6 games. We've had 2 wins in the League Cup, but for the actual championship, we've only had 1 win and a few draws and a few losses. So we're still testing the waters, still trying to get our team together. People are a little bit anxious, and the sack Bruce banners are starting to come out. And actually, even Dr. Tony, he like our president, he loves to go to Twitter often, and he tweeted today, and had all these angry faces. So so we don't know how much longer Bruce does have left, but I think we just still need a little bit of time to
Bruce, right?
Yes, that's correct, Steve Bruce, and we know that he has a history of helping teams get promoted. So and a great career with Manchester United himself. I think he just needs a little bit more time.
So I've known you for a while now,
Yes.
and we've always chatted online and at soccer groups and everything like that. How was it? Because if I'm not mistaken, Villa has been the longest team in Premier League without getting relegated.
That's correct. Yeah, one of
How
those.
did it feel the first time getting relegated? And I know your family are back at home are all Villa fan.
Absolutely. Growing up, my dad was like, gonna be, he didn't teach us a lot, but one thing he taught us, you're gonna support Aston Villa, so hey, you support Aston Villa, and then you grow to love the team yourself. And soccer was always on in our house. My mother would frequently have arguments with my dad because it was on so often, and this is back in the day when you only have one television, so you have no choice. But I grew to love the game and grew to love Aston Villa. And I think when you come to America and you get to meet all these international fans, it makes your passion grow even more, because you miss home, and you really just want to support your team and show pride for your team. So but to answer your question, I must confess, last season,
yes,
I was depressed watching them. I mean, I really couldn't watch the Premier League that much. It hurt me so much.
I can imagine.
You kind of saw it leading up to it a few seasons. Each season we just missed it by a few points, and you kept hoping it was going to be one of those seasons again that we can just pull it off and stay up, get a new manager, but it didn't happen. But I suppose it was good that it happened, because that inevitably made Randy Lerner sell the team, and that's what we really needed.
Isn't there something about that? Is Aston Villa won the World Cup in '66 for England? Is it most of the players who was Aston Villa? Or was it another team?
I'm not sure. There may be a few.
Was it West Ham or Aston Villa?
I'm not sure about that. But, again, Aston Villa has an amazing history. We've actually won the Champions League as well in '82. One of the, is it 5 teams from England that have won it? So, and they helped create the English League, the Premier League in '92. They were a great team in the '90s, have had a lot of great players. So they have a great history, and a lot of people nowadays who just follow the top 4 or top 5 don't really know that, and easy to just look at them and say,
What's the name of the ground? The Villa's ground again? What's it called? It has a name. Do you remember?
Villa Park.
Villa Park.
Yeah, and it's in Aston. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, do you have a hope they're going to be back in the Premier League this year?
Absolutely. It only takes 2 seasons, and I'm hoping that this is it and we will be back up.
I mean, to her point, the beauty about the championship is the most competitive league in the world. The fact that Villa right now, I think they're 16 right now, doesn't mean that they can't get into the
Absolutely.
Premier League. It's a very competitive league.
Yeah.
2 or 3 games and they're back on top.
Yeah.
So it's they're 18 right now.
18th,
but they can
yeah.
still get on top.
Yeah, I mean, it's very competitive. EPL is very competitive, and I'm glad you guys got a captain, Captain Terry.
Yes.
Hopefully he can help.
I think he will. I think he really
Hopefully
will.
he can help. Well, so let's get into the real gist. You know, if you're watching at home, please share with everybody. Let everybody log in, have your comment. The calling number is 202-681-0389. Again, the calling number is 202-681-0389. So the first topic of the day, you know, the transfer window is officially closed. England, the APL, has now changed the way they do their transfer starting from next year.
Yeah.
They're going to close the transfer window right before the season starts. Yeah. What's your opinion? What do you think? Is it beneficial to EPL or not?
I think it makes sense because, you know, you want to do your dealings in an off season. So, you know, the season starts and everyone just plays. This is it. I know I'm playing this season. None of this, oh, am I going to leave next week? Am I not? You know, am I going to get that transfer I want? But then at the same time, I think the thing I did like about having that transfer window open for that month was, you know, if you're a struggling team, and, you know, you come and you think, okay, we brought these players, we're going to play. And, you know, a few weeks into the season, you're just doing terribly. Right. You can say, okay, here's my weak spot. Let me go and get even someone on loan, you know. So I did like the idea of that. But then I think sometimes there is this potential for this whole back and forth of, is he going, is he staying? And that creates a bit of uncertainty for teams sometimes.
What do you think, Kyle?
Well, so one of the challenges that the whole thing is, I mean, so 16 clubs voted for it, right? So it's the Thursday before the league starts. Yep. So I think next year is going to be August 9 or so at 5 p.m. British Standard Time, right? So it closes. 4 clubs said no: Manchester City, Manchester United, and 2 other clubs. 16 said yes. The problem with the tie is that the English Premier League window will close 3 or 4 weeks before Spain closes or France closes. But the French can still come to England and buy players.
So I mean, that's why I'm asking the question: is it good for EPL or bad?
I don't think it's good. I think that if everybody's going to the same transfer window and it stops it all at the same time, that's great. But where we are 3 weeks ahead of the rest of Europe, we may lose our best players and not be able to replace them on time.
That's a good point.
So my immediate opinion is immediately, maybe next year and the year after, it may not be good for EPL. Because you can bring in players if you want to strengthen your team, or you have a player, you have an impression of him, and then all of a sudden comes to training and it's not what you're expecting. In the longer run, I think you will, because if you notice, the problem now with the transfer window is the temperament of players. You know, certain player, they have a dream of playing for Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG, all these big clubs. So if the transfer window closes before the season starts, at least they know, okay, at least that year.
But I almost not that one, because now
they can still go out. But if a player wants to come in to Chelsea, Man City, they can't come in. So you got to do your business early. As a Chelsea fan, I kind of like it because Chelsea have a tendency to drag their feet when it comes to bringing in players. You know, all our managers, Jose Mourinho, Conte, Carlo Ancelotti has always fought with the board when it comes to bringing in players because they drag their feet. Now you got to get your business done early, or else forget it. And I think eventually, I hope EPL we have a good influence on the other league to close the transfer windows early. You know, before we move forward, I want to thank everybody that's logged in on Facebook, that's watching us: David Dimas, Fadeke Ashiru Balogun, Matayo, Yinka George, and everybody else. Thank you for watching. Feel free to call in. We're talking about the transfer window right now. Anything else you want to add to about the transfer window being closed? And if you're watching online on Facebook, please share it with everybody.
It was a crazy window. I mean, the amount of money that was spent in this window. I mean, we're talking about billions of dollars. We're not talking about buying anything. We're talking about people playing, leather ball around with 22 people for billions of dollars.
See, last time I said this, people got on me.
It's crazy.
My whole opinion about it, I don't know if you saw the episode. I was like, you're not saving lives, you're not performing miracles, and you're making $500,000 a week, 220,000 pounds a week, 100 pounds a week. That's ridiculous.
A week.
I don't have a problem with it, because a football player's life is average 8 to 12 years or whatever. So make your money, and once you make your money, I hope you spend it well. You don't blow it up and everything. But I mean, there are a couple transfers out there that stick out to me. Neymar. I personally didn't think Neymar's deal was going to happen. Did you think it was going to happen? I mean, what did you think?
No, I mean, you're at Barcelona. You're playing with Suarez. You're playing with Messi. I mean, what a great team to play with. You're fighting against Real Madrid for that number one spot. You want to get back and win the Champions League again. But at the same time, I don't blame these young players, because when you are playing with someone like Messi, you almost are going to be second. And look at what he's doing for Brazil now. Even Pele mentioned, what a great future he has. And, if Pele's speaking about him like that, that it's serious. And we know what he can do as well. So I kind of don't blame him.
For Neymar?
Yeah.
I don't. But I just thought...
The first show we talked about it now.
Yeah.
Before it happened, we said what's going to happen. You know, right? We thought he shouldn't go because he wants to be the best.
Yeah, I thought it was going to happen, but I don't think he shouldn't go. Because at the end of the day, he wants to be the Ballon d'Or. Yes. You want to be the best football player on the planet.
But will he be the best with Messi?
And with him going to PSG, the league is weak right now. Right. My personal opinion, I think French league is probably the 4th or 5th best league, because you got to go with La Liga, you got to go with APL, you got to go with Serie A, you got to go with Bundesliga before you go to the French league. Right. So if you want to be the best player in the world, you can't be playing in the 5th best league and expect to be a Ballon d'Or. Right. Now, let's say they win the Champions League. That's different, because there's one I always call, in my opinion, I always tell my friends that Champions League is the best league in the world. I agree. Even though it's not a league, but when you play in Champions League, you're playing with the big boys. So if they win the Champions League, we have a chance. I just don't see it. Right. No, before we move forward, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce second guest in the house today. Is a member of ABL family. You all know him. I don't need to introduce him that much. Please welcome Mike.
The voice.
The voice.
Thank you. Up Chelsea.
Yes, you're not going to Chelsea get today. Actually, everybody's decked in that too.
I know.
Real shit.
Forget them.
Let me introduce you to Lindsay. I'm sure you know her already. Lindsay, this is Mike. He's a Chelsea fan. So we have Villa, City, Chelsea. So
we got fans as well. We have Kane from Arsenal, supports Arsenal.
Oh yeah,
David from United, Nika from Man City.
And Dimas from United. Moving forward, so we were just talking about the transfer window. We just concluded about the whole Neymar transfer. Mbappe, what do you think about Mbappe's transfer?
I think he's fantastic. Obviously, I don't know. I don't know what PSG is trying to do.
But
they're trying to buy the Champions League, but for some reason, I think they're going to destroy Ligue 1. But it's going to be tough in the Champions League. It's going to be tough. It's a different battle out there, and I think the competition they face on a weekly basis is probably not up to par to what they're going to be facing in the Champions League, especially when they get into the latter stages.
Right.
So it might not happen this time. It might happen the next year. They might have to buy some additional players in different places. But I think it's exciting. It's exciting for French football, and the guys are gelling,
And to Mike's point about, the competition in French League, it may affect the Champions League. If you're not playing on top of your game every week, and you're pushing, and you're just walking around, we get the Champions League, man. You got blown away. Here's the point last year. Right? Everybody thought, okay, they're going to blow away Barcelona. And what happened at the end? They couldn't hold Barcelona at bay. Yeah. Even though they were 4 goals to 0 ahead in the first leg.
Exactly.
It's going to be difficult.
That was ridiculous. That was when I saw the first leg, I was like, there's no way. There's no way. We just packed the whole bus, the entire team, just in front of the goalpost and do nothing. Yeah. And we win. But, hey.
It happened. So, I mean, like we said earlier, there was a lot of transfer windows that happened, a lot of movement. But let's talk about it.
He's on loan, though. He's on loan PSG. Next year, his transfer 166 gets finalized.
Yeah, it gets finalized.
Because of FFP.
So, but there was some big deals that didn't happen this year. This transfer window that may happen in January or next year. One of the bigger ones is Coutinho. Now, he didn't play today.
No.
And he played during the week, during the international break.
Yeah.
What do you think the relationship is like now between Coutinho, Klopp, and the rest of the team?
Yeah, Coutinho is just being emotional right now. He'll get what he wants in January if he still wants it. But there are rumors out there that he's just going to refuse to go to Barcelona eventually. But I think right now it's just he's having an emotional injury.
Hey, what do you think?
It's always hard when you have that desire. You want to leave somewhere, and there's some restraints, and it just become tumultuous. Like today, Sanchez, they booed him, but then they clapped. So the fans are sometimes we're fickle, right? Let's confess we're fickle fans. 1 minute this player he wants to leave. Oh, forget you, then leave. And then next minute they're winning a game and they're the star. So I think he'll probably end up leaving, and I think apart from today, Liverpool have had a great start without him. Yeah. So, I feel like if you want to go, just go and give me my money. Let me strengthen my squad.
Yeah. I think players should not be, I don't know how it is. I think you should be wanted. You know what I mean? Heavily. Like, you should be wanted. And until it's signed and until it's done, you should just be in a state of, I'm working. You know what I mean? Yeah. When you want me, close it out.
I think he's going to leave. I mean, the whole goal, he moved to Barcelona was for one reason only, to replace Iniesta. Iniesta has 1 year left on his contract, a couple of months left on his contract. His goal was to place Iniesta in that midfield, to have Paulino, Coutinho, and whoever else the next midfielder is. That was the goal, to have him there. Yeah. So, I don't see it happening. It could happen now. It probably happen next summer. If I were him, I would go. The chance to play with Messi.
There's a lot of drills that's going to happen next summer. I think next summer is going to be crazy. We thought this summer was crazy.
What about Messi?
I think, that's what I'm saying. I think next summer is going to be crazy with Coutinho, Messi.
Messi hasn't signed his contract.
There's a bunch of big players that are on their last year of their contract, and
he hasn't signed yet.
Sanchez, is on his last year. So next summer is going to be crazy. But
Benzema, Bale.
So to cap up this whole transfer thing, right? I want us to wrap it up on Barcelona. I don't think I've seen Barcelona management this bad in ages. You have Neymar. You let him go because of money. I mean, hey, the money came. You put a high price on him. Somebody came and put the money down. But you have arguably the best player in the world, Messi, and you let him on his contract. And he hasn't signed it. The fact that they lied that he signed it, and he didn't sign the contract. Now they're trying to walk back. Iniesta hasn't signed. So what do you guys think the future of Barcelona is for the next few years? Are they going to be going down, declining, or what?
I don't think they're going to decline. They're always going to be a top 4 team in La Liga because it's about culture. It's about how they're positioned. It's just like how I feel now about Chelsea, not just because I'm a Chelsea fan. I think they know how to pick the players that fit their systems. And they work, even though Chelsea's season transfer market didn't look so glittering, but it still came up to the point where you have Bakayoko. You just have guys who are kind of built. Even Zapata Costa, they're built. They feel like they're built for Chelsea. So I think the same thing applies to Barcelona. I think all good things in football don't have an end. They just have a dip. They might go through a dip, but I think they have. There's no way they could have really stopped Neymar, because I'm sure when they were putting that 222 million sign clause, they were like, who would ever pay that? So, but these oil men in Qatar, found a way to squeeze that money out from somewhere, and brother, there's nothing they could do to stop it. So I think Barcelona will be fine.
Lindsay, hold your thought for a second. I just want to read some Facebook comments real quick. So Yinka's George is saying, Mbappe, Cavani, Neymar looks good though, referring to what we were talking about earlier about PSG. He also he's a Man City fan, if you don't know. He also said Messi, Jesus, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo, and Aguero, City, Christ, Oluwa. Speaking of Oluwa, you understand Yoruba very well. You know what that means. So he's excited about the whole transfer window. So, back to Barcelona. What do you think the future of Barcelona is?
I think I agree with Michael that, like they say, class is permanent. Once you have that money, you have that history. Look at Manchester United. Okay, I know it's only 4 games into the season, but we haven't seen them play this well or look people getting excited since Ferguson left. So
they got excited when Pep came.
Yeah, but with United, the only thing I said from day one was when they play a real team, then we can know.
True, that's true.
They played a half team and they lost 2 points.
Yeah.
And Swansea, West Ham, really, when they play the big boys, right? Chelsea played Tottenham away, they won. Big boy, top 6, good. City blew away Liverpool today, big boy.
Yes.
Right?
Now, don't forget the red card, though, as well.
Yeah, but I mean, 5-0, come on. Even if you're top 16, you should lose. Even if you go man down, you don't lose 5-0. Maybe you lose 2 or 2-1 or whatever it is.
Liverpool and Arsenal are suffering from the same sickness.
4-0. Yeah. So until they play what I call the real teams, then we can say, okay,
what sickness is that?
You're back.
I don't know.
Don't know.
But to your point.
Yeah, my point with that though, that they're not just going to let Manchester United go down the drain.
Absolutely.
So I feel like Barcelona will do the same thing.
Absolutely.
They would not let this great team, who's won, great things, had amazing players. So that was my point really, that yes, you might have a season that's bad. You may lose some of your players. You might have a manager who doesn't work out, but you're going to fight to get that manager. You're going to fight to get those players, and they've got the money. They've got the history.
I think they've been good 2 or 3 years without a Champions League, though.
Right.
Do we agree?
Who?
Barcelona may go 2 or 3 years without winning the Champions League.
I'm not sure. Right now, they don't look too bad right now. I watched their games, the past 3 games. Right at the top of La Liga, Real Madrid has dropped 4 points at home. Atletico has dropped points at home. They look good right now. They look good.
Against
they played against
played Espanyol today.
Yeah.
Espanyol.
Espanyol.
So
Espanyol's not a bad team.
who
did Real Madrid play today? They played Levante or somebody, right? New boys, productive boys.
Yeah, but we'll see.
When you're rebuilding, sometimes, man, there's Champions League cannot be guaranteed. You have to be gelling at the highest level. So between now and next year, people are leaving, people are coming. I don't know.
Barcelona, my club, is the Bartomeu. Probably going to get him out. They're probably going to get him out and bring somebody else in. That's the problem. Once that person comes in, Messi will sign.
Yeah.
Messi ain't going to be Barcelona. Even though
I don't think he should leave.
I want him to leave, but he ain't going to leave.
Personally, I don't think he should leave either, but I won't be surprised if he does.
Yeah, you want to leave on a high, because changing leagues at this time, especially if he's thinking Premiership, it'll be tough.
If he comes to Premier League, it'll be tough.
At age 30?
Oh. I think it would be awesome.
I think it will be okay for 2-3 years, but it will age very fast.
No, obviously he's Messi, but man, take Messi to Stoke City. It's gonna be a different feeling,
I don't know, Michael.
It's going to be different.
Why would he go to Stoke City?
No, not go to Man City, but play against Stoke City.
Okay, I'm sorry.
There's some because the Premiership, I always say this, people have different conversations about Premiership. Premiership, man, it's a different type of league. You got to come out with your A game nobody's starstruck in
yeah, definitely.
If you put your wrong foot forward, you're gone.
Yeah. So speaking of Premiership, I just want to go through the scoreline for today real quick. Premier League.
Have we talked Diego?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Juicy stuff.
Yes. Yes.
So, scores today, if you haven't heard, I'm sure everybody is watching. Man City 5-0 against Liverpool. Arsenal beat Watford 3-0.
Yes.
3-0.
Bournemouth 3-0.
Bournemouth, sorry.
Sorry,
Bournemouth,
yeah.
Yeah. Brighton beat West Brom 3-1. Everton lost to Tottenham 3-0.
What's going on with those
Southampton lost. Stoke City and Man U 2-2. Chelsea won 2-1 against Leicester City.
Yeah.
So looking at the scoreline, I think Arsenal was a great rebound today. I mean, that's a great job. I wasn't expecting it. Obviously, Man City 5-0. Nobody was expecting 5-0.
No, nobody was.
The red card, to me personally, it could go either way. It's definitely a yellow. It could be a red. It wasn't intentional. It wasn't malicious. It wasn't reckless. I wouldn't use the word reckless for that red card, but because it made contact, so it could go either way. And because of the pace that it was going, and we all know man is all pace. What do you guys think? Do you think it's a justified red card?
For me, it was not intentional, but by the letter of the law, when you're engaging the safety of an opponent, it's a red card. It's not as if the guy hit him on the chest; it was on the face.
Yeah,
his leg was too hard. You can't do that in the game. That's a red card. If that was Otamendi who did it to another player, we won't be complaining about it. Because Mane were like, okay, maybe you didn't mean it. It's a red card, in my opinion.
And you could see he didn't, because he wasn't really looking at. He was just, and you all know, you guys play. When you see that ball, you want to go for that ball, and you judge it in your mind. If I can just get there first, then I agree. It wasn't intentional, but it's unfortunate. And if he didn't give him a red card, everyone would have been calling for the referee's head.
But
Because
what else surprised with it? I mean, even if you're 10 men down, a title contending team should not be down 5-0.
I don't know.
I mean, you should not be down 5-0.
And by the way, on Facebook, Yinka George says it's reckless point blank. Mancala didn't play last year. Got a red card. A red card doesn't matter of his intent. Taye, shut up. Thank you, Judge. I hear you. Don't worry. I'll catch you up on Facebook.
But to go down 5-0, will Chelsea go down 5-0 even with 10 men?
No.
Absolutely not.
I think.
But we
United
know
do so?
Man City are capable of doing that, though.
Yeah.
Just like we see them
So it's
do it
two
last
things.
season.
Yeah,
You guys,
5.
It's two things, right? Man City is a team that when they're clicking, they're clicking.
yeah, absolutely.
Even without a record, they can still beat Liverpool 5-0 because they have to play. Look at the 2 goals that Sunday scored. Fantastic goal.
Yeah.
Even if you have 11 men on the field, you're not stopping that.
Yeah.
And every time Man City plays, Liverpool, Aguero always get a goal. So you know who's going to get his. And Jesus is, Jesus.
Mhm.
The guy is not the best technical player, but his work rate is phenomenal. And he could get a goal anywhere. So it's one of those things, it's bound to happen sooner or later, and it did.
Yeah,
I see you joined her. Tabjin, welcome from Nigeria.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I think De Bruyne got 2 assists today, right?
Oh,
And
De
he
Bruyne.
hasn't done much.
De Bruyne was the quarterback today.
At the beginning of the season, so he finally stepped up as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Liverpool needed all their men to win today, and as she said, Man City is a team that can do that to anyone, especially when you're 10 men, when you're 1 man down, and also. I also think that, Klopp kind of went to sleep. And I think sometimes, for people who have experienced coaching, man, there's certain things that just change you from the coach to a spectator. You just...
Sorry, go ahead.
You're just watching. And so you have to be... coaches that go a man down and still have a good game, decent game, are coaches that are very mentally tough. You have to stay. People like Mourinho could have done it and even kept that game at a 0-0 and packed it in tight, and having the kind of players, because some of the substitutions they made, they didn't really have the personnel to lock it down, so for that long.
This guy makes a good point, because look at Klopp's history. Champions League final, right? Collapsed. Look at against Sevilla 2 years ago, Europa League collapsed. There's something about Klopp, about when he goes down, he's unable to react, to counter, or at least preserve things. Something about it.
So, and I mean, there are levels. I know the EPL, the professional level is different from us. Yesterday, almost the exact same thing happened to us. Halftime, PG Community College was playing the Exes. We were losing 3-0. We were 2-0. We were very high, going to a D1 school. And by halftime, within the first 15 minutes, before we got our weights to the game, we were down 3-0. We rode out the whole first half. Second half came 5 minutes into the second half, we got a red card. And it was a justified red card because my players laid foot up, boom, red card. Before you know, 10 minutes later, we're down 5-0. So at that moment, I had to get up and say, okay, you know what? Let's make some change. Let's pack it. Let's slow the game down. We already learned a lesson first half. We just learned a harsh lesson. And then we were able to get 2 goals back in 5-2. So that kind of saved faces instead of being blown out 7-8, 9-0.
Yeah.
Because in the college game, it's easy for a team to get blown out 7-8, 9-0 because everybody's not a professional.
Exactly.
Even it's like American college football. You will see a score of 49-0 or 85-4.
Yeah.
Because in college game, if you're not there, you make a mistake. It's very easy to get blown out. So at a professional level, I was expecting Klopp. He did make the right change by taking Salah out. But the rest of the guys, man, they just... Mane is the engine that keeps that thing going. And I think they might lose their game next week. I don't know who they're playing. I can look it up in the field. But without Mane, I don't see
them. They have a Champions League game on Tuesday.
This week,
So Coutinho's got to play.
Yeah, so it was a wake-up call for Klopp. Because, they've been doing well beginning of the season. They seem to be gelling, Mane's doing well. Firmino's doing well. So I think it was a wake-up call for him.
Why didn't he buy Van Dijk? To concede, 10 goals to concede it. Why do you buy Van Dijk?
Who knows? One more game I want to highlight real quick before we move on. Man U, Stoke City, 2-2.
I didn't watch the game. I was coaching my kids.
Okay.
I missed that one.
Fantastic.
Did you see the game?
I like the result.
Saw the second half.
Okay.
Fantastic game. Fantastic game. Not just because I'm a Chelsea fan, but It was just fantastic. Stoke City came to play. I mean, a lot of players on the team. They showed themselves. They were professional today. It was Chupamotin was fantastic.
Nigerian.
No, he's not. Cameroonian.
Yeah. I think he was born in Germany though, but
Yeah.
he plays for Cameroon.
Yeah. He plays for Cameroon
Yes.
He did. This international break.
for against Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he pulled a hamstring or something.
Yeah.
He was technically supposed to be.
Okay. Yeah, but amazing. Chupamotin was really great. You had the little guy on the right side.
Hesse.
No,
Hesse is fantastic.
what's his name?
Oh,
I
Hesse
think,
is clean.
I think he's from Turkey or
How
something.
big is
But
Hesse? Like,
Because Hesse is a trouble player. He's like Hesse, Balotelli, all these trouble players are in the same realm. So they struggle to stay in their own team because of their temperament. Hesse is not only a football player, he's also a reggaeton artist.
Yeah.
He has an album out there. He loves to party.
He's a good
He
rapper.
loves the ladies. He loves the drinks. So
Well, the fans love him already. When
Yeah.
he scored the other week, they were going wild.
and anywhere he goes now, they're gonna buy him a drink. So
Shaqiri was beautiful. He was.
sorry, we got a call coming in.
He's playing for Bayern Munich.
Thank you for calling the fan zone. I'm good. Who's speaking, please? Yes. Say that again. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we are.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. They're not lying though.
I have no problem calling him.
Mm. But we got Morata though.
I'll take Morata any day.
Yo, you can hold on 1 second. While I got you on the phone, I want to get your opinion about Jose Mourinho not shaking the other coach's hand after the game and bypassing the head coach to shake the assistant coach's hand. What's your opinion? Yeah, but now you are online. Go. Okay. 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 Mm-hmm. So Yinka, here's one thing that you have to understand though, and this is part of my beef with Mourinho. He has a bad reputation of fighting with every coach. Mourinho Klopp, Mourinho Conte, Mourinho Mark, Mourinho Pep. I mean, he's fought with everybody. Why is he always him? It's like a troubled child. And this man is like 55 years old. Mourinho Wenger. But this is the same Mourinho that pulled a grown man's ear when he was at Real Madrid against Barcelona. It's his reputation I'm talking about. Yeah. Now we are Champions League winner. Why are you getting upset, man? Thank you for calling me, man. Thank you.
Yeah, but before we go to the handshake, I think that the team Stoke was amazing, and it'll be great if they can keep up what they did today. I think they'll end up really high on the table. Zuma was great. Peters was great. Joe Allen was amazing.
Yeah.
From front to back. So I just love it, and I'm happy for their team because they got a few guys like Zuma, people who were rejected somewhere, and they came and they really showed off. Zuma. That was the time he ran all the way from the other box down to his box trying to defend. That was brilliant. So I think if they can keep that energy without thinking they're not in the Champions League or anything, I think they could be very effective this year.
This morning when we were going to my son's game, I told him, I said, this game is probably going to be a tie or Stoke is going to win. Because Stoke has always been a difficult team to play. They're very tall. They're great on set plays. I think they're the best team in set plays in the league. And you have to understand, like you said, they have a bunch of players that are rejected from other team. That's so Stokey. Stoke has done that for the last 10 years.
But last year they tried to play sexy Stoke, passing the ball. It didn't work. They're back to the real Stoke, which is a windy Stoke on a rainy night.
Long
hit
ball,
the ball forward,
physical.
Right.
But what they do good is they adapt. I like to see the other style of football when they can manage it. But when they can't manage it, they need, and that's a good team for me. One other thing I want to point out about that game. This continues to show me how overrated Pogba is. Pogba does nothing.
Now you're going to have Man U fans calling it.
Yeah, so Pogba
I said from day one
does nothing.
that for me, he wasn't worth that 90 million. Maybe now that we got Mbappe for the 166 and we got Mail for 222, okay, no, but 90 million? No.
I'll take Bakayoko over him.
So
and
for you guys,
4-3-3.
yeah. For you guys on Facebook, please share the link with everybody. Let's share it. And let me read a comment real quick on Facebook. Mr. Idesoji, I just like you said that Stoke is a physical team, point blank. Murillo is an attention seeker. I think we all know.
Yeah, but
yes, Nicola. Hey, thank you for joining. Nicola is the CEO of one of our sponsors today. She runs Change Your Life Africa. So thank you for joining.
Sabina, welcome. Nice to see you.
Yes.
And I also think that I'm with Yinka on this one about Mourinho. It was clear as day. He came into the box to talk to him. They weren't arguing or anything. He didn't just say F off. He pushed him and said F off. So I think these guys are big boys. And I think what hurts Mourinho the most is because he's trying to change his lifestyle. Because in his mind, he's thinking, I would have just yanked you.
His reputation is what follows him. Some people will look at OJ till he died and still look at him as a killer because of his reputation. Some people will look at Bonatelli and say, hey, he's a troublemaker, even when he's trying to do the right thing.
But I think he's good. I think Mourinho is good. Some Mourinhos in the system are good for the game. It brings some excitement. It makes press briefings interesting. It gives us something more to talk about apart from the game. But, you can't just judge him on that. I think the right thing to do would be for Mark to say, hey, dude, I'm sorry for saying that to you, and Mourinho for saying.
I think somebody did tell me that he apologized. I haven't seen it, so I can't.
Yeah, and for Mourinho to do the same too. Yeah. That would be because it showed that he didn't have anything against the team and its staff. It was just against Mark.
So to wrap up, the Premier League today, tomorrow, just 2 games tomorrow. Burnley, Crystal Palace, 8:30 a.m. Who are you picking?
Crystal Palace need to win.
The gist that, right? That he has one game left. If he loses this game,
that's what I heard.
He's out.
That's what I heard.
What's the guy is trying to play, Ajax football with Crystal Palace. It ain't gonna work. You don't have the players.
Coaches, we have to learn that nobody cares what you play. You play sexy, you play ugly, you play long, you play short. If you're not winning, you out.
Yeah.
I think Burnley's going to win and the boys going to be out.
Football is like, I keep saying it and everybody makes fun of me. It's like that old Johnny Jackson song. What have you done for me lately?
Absolutely true.
It is. Conte came in. Nobody expected him to do much. Now he's a hero. And if he had a bad first year, he would have been out.
Absolutely. But the thing that concerns me about Crystal Palace now, what is it? This would be their 5th manager in a manager a season, So
whoever take that job.
But I do sympathize because Sam left. He wasn't fired.
No.
It was supposed to be with Sam, but Sam said he's done. He moves on.
Yeah.
Sam's going to be back in December.
And they don't have a bad
Of
team.
course.
They have some
Not only
these
the
good
money, it's
players.
got to come save somebody.
They have Benteke, they have Zaha,
Zaha.
they have these French boys,
Yeah.
so
Somebody has to. Sam is like the savior of
The doctor.
yeah, doctor to revive a team. So you're right, he is going to be back because by December we will know. Right now we have 3 teams in the league that have not that have not gotten a point. That's hard.
yeah.
So Mike,
Burnley has started season well. I think they're going to keep going that way. Crystal Palace is going to need some magic, probably. New coach. They've been in the league a few years, and I think they're supposed to be better than they are right now. So something is going on in the upper room.
I agree. I'll go with Burnley also. Swansea, Newcastle.
That's going to be a good game. Newcastle and Swansea now have Renato Sanchez, so they have Wilfred Bony. Rafa is under pressure. That's going to be a tough one. I think Swansea's going to win.
Okay. I can't argue that. Champions League. Let's go to Champions League.
The best competition in the world.
The best league in the world.
Best league in the world.
Real quick, this Tuesday, Wednesday is Champions League. I just want to go through that real quick. First game, Benfica, Moscow.
Who's away? Who's home?
Benfica home.
Benfica.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Benfica's going to get it.
Yeah, I'll go Benfica.
I'll go Moscow.
Moscow, okay. Don't worry, it's on camera. We'll track it.
Yeah.
Man City at home to Basel.
Man City.
I'm sorry, Manchester United. Man U at home with Basel.
Man U.
Yeah, Man U.
A tie.
You had to give it to Man U. They lose at home, they got bigger problems.
Remember, this is Basel, though.
I understand.
You know,
but
the history of
Man U is
Basel
at
Man
home.
U.
Oh,
Yeah.
It goes back.
But
Yeah.
Man U is at home, and they have a better team now.
But
so
they have 2 players suspended. They have Bailly suspended, and they have Jones suspended.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are home. They should figure it out. I'll still go with Man U. Bayern Munich, Anderlecht.
Bayern Munich any day.
Bayern Munich is at home.
Bayern. Well, they lost today, 2-0. Away to Hoffenheim.
Bayern Munich, Anderlecht. Draw.
I'll go Bayern.
Okay. Celtic at home to PSG.
I don't know.
What's the
I don't know. I don't know.
You said Celtic, who?
Lindsay,
Celtic at home to PSG.
Parkhead in Scotland, Champions League? I don't know.
But it's hard that they come and play in the Champions League, and it's.
I tell you, man. I mean,
So who's your
Parkhead in
PSG.
Scotland.
Thank you.
A tie.
PSG also.
A tie.
I love Brendan Rodgers, but come
Tie.
on.
It's going to be a tie.
Neymar.
Tie.
Mbappe. Come on.
Tie. It's going to be a tie.
Okay. You said you're picking
No
a tie?
pun intended.
All right. We have it on camera.
Tie.
Tie?
It's going to
Thank
be
you,
their
Michael.
first time out of the comforts of La Liga. I think.
You're going to
Think
Parkhead.
Celtic, you're going to go to some tough
You know
Englishmen.
what?
Or
They should buy us lunch when they lose.
yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. They're not Barcelona yet.
Okay. Let's move on real quick. We got about 10 minutes left. Roma, Atletico. Roma at home. Hosting Atletico.
Roma. About Roma.
I'll go Atletico.
Okay.
Atletico.
Now I'm gonna butcher this name.
Carabao.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Okay. Chelsea at home hosting Karabakh.
Chelsea all day, even with the second team.
Yeah, I'll go Chelsea.
Okay. I'm glad we can at least agree on something. Barcelona hosting Juventus.
Barcelona, FC Barcelona.
Where are they playing?
Barcelona.
Camp Nou.
Yeah, Barcelona. If it was Juve, I would have gone. If it was home for Juventus, I would have gone Juve.
That's a good point. I'll go with Barcelona also. So Barcelona, we all go with Barcelona. Olympiacos and Sporting CP. Olympiacos is at home.
Sporting for me.
Yeah, Greeks are still having a lot of problems over there. I'll go with Sporting.
Sporting. Wednesday, Liverpool hosting Seville.
Where? The hosting.
Yeah.
Mane's playing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Liverpool.
I'll go Sevilla.
I'll go for tie.
I go for a tie too. I was about to say that. Mirabo and Sparta Moscow. Mirabo.
Spartak, Moscow. It's gonna be Moscow.
Moscow. All right, Carl, I need your help on this one too. Feyenoord.
Feyenoord, yeah.
Feyenoord hosting Man City.
I'll go City.
Yeah, City.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go with City. Shakhtar and Napoli.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I take that back. Ukraine. Tie.
I go with Napoli.
I go with Shakhtar.
I'll go for tie.
Porto, Besiktas.
Who's home? Who's away?
Porto at home.
Porto. If it was away, I would say Besiktas.
There's the. Yeah, I want to go Besiktas because Turkish football is ticking these days. A lot of movement happening. Yeah. So I think we're going to see that effect from Besiktas.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take Besiktas to win.
Okay. Real Madrid. Oh, I'm sorry. Who did you?
Oh, I'll go Porto.
Porto. Okay. Lipsen. Red Bull Lipsen hosting Monaco.
That's going to be a game.
Yeah.
That will be a game. I'm going to go for a tie between Leipzig and Monaco.
I'll go Monaco.
Monaco too. I don't know too much about that.
Do they still have any players there?
I don't know. I'll go with what I know. I'll go with Monaco.
Leipzig background, they're a new team, pumped a lot of money. The Red Bull is one that sponsors them. They came second or third in the league last year. They're quite good. They're that Liverpool player, Navigator, that they just signed, play for them. They're quite good.
Okay.
At home, I would go for a tie.
Well, I think we both went from Monaco. Yeah.
Tie.
Mm-hmm. Last two real quick. Real Madrid and Empoli.
Yeah, Real Madrid can play that game.
Yeah. All right, last one. Tottenham hosting Dortmund.
In what, Wembley?
Why you look like you're catching the Holy Ghost all of a
Tottenham.
In Wembley?
Yeah, it's in Wembley.
This is the ABL gospel bike.
Yeah, Tottenham. They need help. They need spiritual help. I think Tottenham, man. I thought it was going to be a different start for them this year.
Yeah, don't forget the August hurricane curse. But it's broken now. Yeah, he scored for England. He's scored 2 today, was it? Yeah.
Doesn't score in August.
Yeah, his curse is broken today.
So you going with Tottenham?
I'll go for tie.
After all that speech about the curse being broken,
I just want to say they're gonna lose.
Okay.
I'll go with a tie too.
I'm gonna go Dortmund.
I'm going Dortmund, man. I'm going with my boy, U.S. International Pulisic.
Obama,
yeah. I can't go against him.
I think it'll be a tie.
You're going with a tie. It's not a short tie, so I think you might need to continue to pray for them.
You forgot the Thursday night football. Sorry, Thursday night football.
No.
I'm sorry, that's not fans.
Don't worry, guys. Mr. Solitude. You know this man, Kyle. Francis.
Yeah.
Sorry, we don't talk about Europe right here. Who are they even playing? So
I don't know. Somebody playing. Somebody.
If Arsenal doesn't win Europa this year, they have a major issue.
They won't win.
Because Chelsea was in Europa, Chelsea won it. Man U was there last year. It saved them last year, got them into Champions League. So Arsenal, it's your turn. I beg.
They won't win Europa League. You know why? Because all those Champions League guys, someone's going to drop from third place to Europa League.
Well, like I said, when the other big clubs, top 4 clubs in England drop to Europa League, they usually go there and win it.
Yeah, Arsenal is not built for winning. They're built for development.
Sure.
So when you guys decide to man up,
you guys are going to chase all Arsenal from ABL Fanzone. You know that, right?
Spend some money. We can talk about winning something.
Jeez. All right, moving on. Real quick, let's spend 2 or 3 minutes on international football. You can't talk international football in America without their U.S. team. Right now, we are on the outside looking in. The chances of us getting in It's getting slimmer and slimmer.
Yep.
But I still have hope. You know, like the great American song say, I believe, I believe, I believe we will win. So I still have hope. Does anybody else think we don't have hope?
There's hope.
Yeah, I mean, like yourself, Taya, I've been a fan of the USA team. Now, I was hoping that they would gain momentum from what they did in the last World Cup, but I think they still have too many of these MLS players. I think they do well when they have players playing in Europe. You know, I think that really strengthens their team, and I think at the moment they don't have enough players abroad.
My main reason for hope is because the last 2 games against Panama and Honduras. If you can't beat Panama, you can't beat Honduras when you really did it.
Are they not playing Trinidad and Tobago?
Yeah, Panama.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Panama away and Trinidad and Tobago at home. If you can't beat Panama away and Trinidad and Tobago at home when you really, really need it, maybe you shouldn't go to the World Cup. Don't go to the World Cup and embarrass CONCACAF. So Bruce Arena, telling you, please do something. In my language, we beg, do something. You know.
I think the U.S. Team has 3 major problems. One is coaching. I think they're gonna need to find a different coach, a young coach, a different coach. They're also going to need to, as she said, players that they're selecting, they have to look externally, because the third reason, the MLS, I think the MLS is developing and it's moving. I'm not saying it's not moving, but there's the American system of sports that is heavily big on advertising, and not having a relegation system is going to affect the ability for teams to improve and fight and generate more talent. Because just check out all these leagues that have relegation systems and how teams are coming up. The competition is tighter. It's like, I gotta stay in. It's not just a regular, let's come eat hot dogs and have fun at the game. It's like, if we don't do what we have to do, we're no longer in the big time. So I think those combination of those 3 things are the things that are holding back the U.S. team from really flourishing. And then, but I think they can still make it. You know, the Americans, Americans always win.
The thing about the relegation, I know everybody talks about the relegation system with MLS, right? Eventually, I think they will go that route, because if you look at the physical mass of America, it's huge. I mean, EPL that we're talking about is probably less than a quarter of America, right? Most EPL teams can actually travel by bus. Most MLS teams have to fly by plane. If DC is playing Atlanta, you have to fly, because you don't want to put players on 16-hour bus ride. You know, you're playing LA Galaxy. There's a lot of things that's involved. The problem with the relegation for America right now, and when I say right now, I mean now, between now and the next 5 years, is the fact that you have a few people that are really, really investing money. So let's say, for example, you have a USL team. Let's use Pennsylvania. Let's say Pennsylvania has a USL team, right? And that owner is probably investing $200,000 a year for a USL team. Maybe bought that team for another $200,000, and is maintaining that team for $200,000 a year. You have a team like DC United. You have a team like Sporting KC that are spending millions of dollars. Like, for example, DC United is in the process of building their own stadium, right? A USL team doesn't have a stadium. They use a local university or something. Now, a owner of DC United have just spent over $200,000, including buying the team and maintaining it for the last 5 years. And someone that spent less than $1 million in 5 years, you want them to be on the same level? It's not going to happen. Not yet, anyways. You know, so there's that capitalistic that is not going to make it happen yet. But once USL, North American soccer leagues develop, like the Cosmos, like, for example, Miami FC now is leaving NASL and coming to MLS, which is the David Beckham team. Didier Drogba is developing. He has a USL team in Arizona that is actually a owner player. He's one of the first owner player in the world, right? So eventually he's going to bring this team to MLS. Now, once they hit 24, the commissioner is saying, once we hit a cap, we're not growing anymore. We stop it. We're not letting anybody come in. So now we're going to focus on develop USL or NASL. One of those teams is going to be like kind of like the championship team, and then they develop those leagues and then develop a third league. Then we can say, okay, you know what? Let's have a relegation and promotion process. So I hear you. It's in the work, but it's just not time yet, because some people, David Beckham's group is going to spend over $500 million for Miami FC because they told them before they can come into MLS, now you have to build a soccer-specific stadium. And they're building one in downtown Miami. So are you telling me that a USL team in Baltimore that doesn't have a kit, that doesn't have a sponsor, will be competing with David Beckham that are going to spend over $500 million to have an MLS team?
Yeah.
Same thing with DJ Drogba in Arizona. So the problem is there, and the growth. The league is only 21 years old compared to EPL that's over 100 years old. So there's a lot of problem there.
The national system is, until that corrects or that develops to that point, still going to have that lethargic. We're good. We're not good.
We're not going to win the World Cup, but at least we can get to the quarterfinals. But speaking of international, Argentina looks like they're in big trouble in South America.
Yeah, but you know that there's always one that has to come play New Zealand or Australia to qualify.
Yeah.
All right, they'll get through.
Yeah, I think they'll get through. Yeah.
So you guys don't think we're going to have a World Cup without Messi?
Vladimir Putin will make sure they get through.
Yeah, hack it.
They're fifth place, but yeah, they've got 2 games, and like you said, somehow they'll make it through.
Okay. Nigeria just played 2 World Cup qualifying. The first game was spectacular, 4-0 against Cameroon, and then they went away and tied 1-1. What do you think?
Good. They're almost there. One more game, one more win, and they're there.
Yeah, I think it's good. I
How do you win 4-0 and then go tie?
It's Cameroon was at home. Cameroon are the African champions. Fatigue, international travel, gelling with a team, certain spots in the team not being replaceable yet. Mikel is a very, very big component wherever he is. And this is the reason why some people don't like Mikel, but Mikel is, when we look back, Mikel is going to be one of the amazing players Africa has ever seen. Consistency, because what he does is that he controls momentum. Mikel can make the game move as slow as he wants or as fast as he wants.
Michael, Mourinho killed Mikel.
But you see the problem.
No, he didn't. I disagree.
He wanted to stay there.
Yeah.
I was like, why is he staying there? He could have gone to any other club in the Premier League, and he would have played week in and week out.
It's African mentality.
When I watched Mikel in the World Cup final on the tournament against Messi, the final, he was playing number 10. This dude was balling. And they took him and made him a defensive midfielder.
Can I say something?
And scored only 1 goal in his career in EPL.
Can I say something? So here's what I have to say about that. I know this is most of Nigerians' argument. When it comes to football, competition really matters.
Yes, sir.
Right? In the under-20, when it was the man, because he was playing against 20 years and younger players. So he was the man. And that brought him to EPL. When he came to EPL, he was still playing like he was 20. And he couldn't play a 10. He was not going to bench any attacking midfielder at Chelsea. So the only way for him to make the team was for him to play defensively. And then he excelled at it where he made it his career. So whenever we're talking about a player or a team, we also have to look at the competition.
Exactly.
Right? We're talking about Mbappe now, right? The only reason why Mbappe is worth all this money, because not only perform in the league, he performed in the Champions League. Yeah. Unlike some other players that perform in the league and they get to Champions League, they're duds. Yeah. So that was Mikel's issue. He never really excelled. And that's not only Mikel, this happens to a lot of Africans.
Not just Africans, a lot of young players.
But especially Africans. A lot of Africans in the U20 World Cup, U19, U17, we excel. We are superstars. Then we get to the world stage where it's all big boys, and then we cannot.
So what about Moses? Should he go somewhere or should he stay?
No, Moses needs to stay.
Moses stays because Moses grew up in England.
But I mean, to another Premier League team, though.
No. Moses is a starter.
So
he's a starter in Chelsea.
I love that comment. But the thing about I feel Mourinho was a blessing to Mikel. Mourinho, it's like saying a baby is beautiful when they're young or they're well behaved. That's how playing in the U's are. U17, U18, U20. We don't know what the player is totally. By the time he got to the big league, we found out that his speed was not where it's supposed to be compared to what he was playing at that point. His speed, his stamina. So Mourinho did the best thing for him, and he had a vision for what he wanted Mikel to be before he even got to the team. So I think that it would have been bad if Mikel went to Man U.
Yeah.
He would have had a different expectation. Mourinho knew exactly he fit in, and he's been one of the most consistent African players ever.
Yeah.
You look at it, his pay. You look at people will say JJ Okocha is a great player, but what did JJ Okocha win?
I won 2 titles with Arsenal.
JJ?
I'm sorry, no. I was thinking of Conrad.
No, JJ. So Mourinho, Mikel's career has been nice.
And just like Mourinho was a blessing to Mikel, I think Mourinho was a curse to Moses. Moses came out and said, he never talked to me, he never encouraged me. All he says, you're no. Conte came in and said, listen, I like you, I will give you the preseason for you to show me what you got. He showed what he's got. Now, 2 years in a row, he's been a starter.
No, but he matured. Moses has matured. Before, Moses used to be an all-speed player. He just runs and he runs into the wall and he falls back.
He never had the chance.
He went to good clubs, though. He went to good they loaned him. He went to, was it in Liverpool?
No, he went.
Where did he go?
West Brom. And then here's the thing about players, right? If you know your manager, it's like you're at your job. If you know your manager has confidence in you, you will excel. But if your manager comes in and look at you like, oh, you know, you're not worth it. You don't belong here. You might not like where you want to excel. It's time for you to start looking for another job.
I just think Moses was a late bloomer. Even in the Nigerian national team, he's amazing right now at multiple positions.
Because he's playing day in, day down in ABL.
Yeah.
No, but that teams he went to and did good. You know what I mean?
He was injured.
Yeah, but again, I'm just thinking he was a late bloomer. Now he's so cool-headed on the ball. He has speed, but it's not required at every time. He's created some beautiful things, like there's a swinging pass he does when the ball is coming this way and he's under pressure. It's an amazing pass he does and always hits Costa. So he's developed some manly characteristics, for the game, So I think his was a matter of time, not ability, just learning the game.
I mean, there's so much more we can talk about, but we're going to wrap up. Before we wrap up, Kyle, how's your coaching going?
Yeah, we have first game today of the season. We have some new girls who joined the team. We won today 6-1.
Okay, so you guys that don't know, Cash Cole's
SAC, yeah.
U9 at SAC?
U10.
U10, sorry. U10 at SAC, so
yeah.
it's amazing. I myself coach at PG Company College. We're 2-1, won the first game, ranked number 6 in the country. Right now, I know we're going to drop by next week because we lost yesterday, but hopefully we start another winning streak.
Yeah.
So we have 2 new people here. The tradition is the first time you come into the Fanzone studio, you have to make your top 4 prediction, and we keep it on record. And after the season, we run and one with mini clip. So if you win, if you look good, you're going to look good. If you lose, can't help you. So let me go to the lady first.
Okay.
So who's your top 4 prediction this year?
This is tough.
It is.
I'm happy about this year because I think it's going to be a competitive year. It's going to be a very, very good league.
But you have a head ahead of we had to predict before the season started.
Oh, yeah.
You have 4 games to kind of get,
But I'm happy at least we're going to have a competitive league. None of this, 2 years ago when Leicester, I was happy for them, but, that's what the EPL needs to be. We need to see it come down to the last few weeks of who's going to win and who's going to be in top 4. But I think it's going to be tough. I would say 4th spot, Tottenham Hotspurs.
Okay.
Number 3, Man City. Number 2, Chelsea. And number 1, United. But I almost want to say a caveat, if Mourinho can behave himself.
So let's put an asterisk on that.
Yeah.
Well, we got it. You're on camera. Thank you. The voice. Let the Holy Spirit speak for you.
Yes, I think Chelsea definitely is going to be in top 4.
No. Can you give us the order?
In order?
Yes. We're not guessing for you.
In order, I'm going to start from the top. Chelsea number 1,
Okay.
Man City number 2, Manchester United number 3. And the 4th spot, I'm sorry to say, it's going to be very uncertain. It's going to be very uncertain. And I'm going to pick a team that impressed me today. I think Stoke is going to be number 4.
Okay, so you're champion. You're picking Chelsea to win it.
Chelsea to win it. Man City second. Manchester United third.
Okay, and then
Stoke City fourth.
Wow.
If you get it that in order, Mike, I would personally buy you a Chelsea jersey.
Oh,
Because that Stoke City pick, shocking.
Yeah, it is. But they just held my number 3.
I tell you what, if Stoke is to the top 4, period,
Yeah, that's a good point.
you get a jersey.
That's the only position they can get in top 4, or they're not there.
Stoke have beaten Arsenal, tied with the.
If they go in tonight,
Lindsay, what do you
no. We see this every season. You get those kind of outsider teams. You know, they do well, but when Christmas comes, they start fading, and only the big boys can hold. Because you know, look at the big boys. You guys have, I mean, a bench that can go on and beat people. These kind of teams don't have that. So if they get an injury, they're in trouble. They get a suspension, they're in trouble. So as much as I want them to, because you know, I'm all for these smaller teams, and that's been one of my things for a long time. How can these guys compete with the big guys when they don't have oil money and all this kind of money and the great stars? So I want these smaller teams to do well, but unfortunately the reality is it's very hard for them in the long run.
Absolutely.
Maturity wise, right? I think that Mark Hughes is mature. Mark Hughes has been to a lot of places, and I think he's beginning to line it up right now how he needs to run an organization to win. I just think if they go in tomorrow morning and sit down and say, everybody show up, let's watch this game, just like Leicester City did, it was an outside chance, and they say, we got to do this every week, can we do this every week, and they push themselves, I think they'll do pretty good. Before we go, I know you got to go, but we cannot leave my man DC Diego Costa out of this conversation.
Okay, sorry. Okay, go ahead, real quick. The producers are telling us we gotta wrap.
Diego Costa deserves everything that he's getting, and I love that Chelsea is doing it this way because they crumbled last time with Mourinho. I don't think any player is bigger than the club or the coach. I think he should take his place in the reserve team if he wants it. They'll keep paying him his money. He should stay there. I love the fact that they towed his car out of the senior players' parking lot. I love everything they're doing. I love the response of the coach during press conferences. We really don't care who you are. You're not that important. So I think teams need to be run that way.
I totally agree. You cannot be far from the truth. I totally agree. It's been so long that players, even though you're a valuable asset of the club, need to know that you're not bigger than the team.
That's right.
You know, and sometimes coaches, managers misbehave, and players kind of vote him out, you know, by performance and stuff like that. And sometimes I agree with those. But in this instance, this is the best thing that could have happened to Chelsea. And only a strong coach like Conte can fire somebody with a text.
I'll take Morata any day. I've said it.
All right.
I have 2 words for Costa.
Yes.
Man up.
So, Lindsay, thank you very much for joining us. Mike, of course, thank you for coming to this side of the sports zone and away from gospel. We appreciate you guys. You guys have the open door policy. Anytime you want to come to the show, just let us know. If, how can people reach you, your social media, if you look into the camera, and just let them know, please.
Okay. I'm on Facebook, Lindsay Williams. I'm on Instagram, Lindsarins. Ty has all my information as well if you need to get in contact with me.
Okay, Mike, The Voice.
Hey, you all know me, Michael Bedozier, The Voice. On Instagram, I'm MO The Voice, and I'm here on ABL Gospel. Every 2 weeks, we have the show Gospel Today, and it's absolutely fantastic. So hit me up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It's a wrap for another 2 weeks. We'll see you guys. Hope you enjoyed the league. We pray for everybody in the southern coast of Florida, Cuba, everybody else. Stay safe, stay dry. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you.